Once again, we'd like to welcome everyone to Randy and Candy Yow's Extreme Desire podcast, where we meet, talk, learn, and hear from some of the legends and people in the real world of hunting, where we keep things down to earth with real people.
Well, we're here today with Rob Gearing with Spartan Precision.
Good to see you guys.
Fresh out of the UK.
Good to see you.
We get hugs.
Yeah. I won't hug you, Yeoman. Sorry.
Yeoman, yeah. But anyway, they've come up with this bipod, tripod system. They're great guys. And we met Rob basically through Adam Weatherby when we helped him with the sheep hunt last year. He had the coolest little bipod on his rifle that just pops off and magnetically pops in. It's so lightweight. I'm really into shooting sticks and anything that helps you to make a better shot. And it's like, he put me in touch with Rob, and then it's just kind of evolved from there. And now
I'm eating your elk that you shot off the bipod.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that was a real tasty elk, by the way.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you came about this deal.
Yeah, so my background basically is I used to take a lot of people hunting in the UK. I still do, but not as much because obviously I'm building bipods now and not out doing that as much, but those days will be back, I'm sure. And I had a Swedish client come in, got in front of a roebuck. I've told this story about 1,000 times now, so forgive me. And I didn't have a bipod on the rifle, Randy. Not because I don't like bipods, it's just because I find they get in the way. And maybe I would use a bipod less than 10% of occasions where I hunt.
Just a big chunk of stuff.
This occasion, I needed a bipod. So I failed that guy, really, because I got him into a really nice roebuck, he wasn't comfortable taking the shot, and I am not one for making somebody pull the trigger if they're not comfortable. So, hey-ho, that roebuck got to live another day, and we didn't have any venison for tea. But it struck me that I thought there's got to be a better way, and in the background, a former life into aviation, did a lot of stuff with some new materials and such like. We bought the nose of Concorde, Concorde aircraft, serial number 6, and turned it into a piece of art. The guy covered the bearing that the Concorde was mounted on, an Olympus engine bearing, with a couple of clamshells. And those clamshells were locked in place with 2 rare earth magnets. Tiny little things. And I said, that's what I need. I said, make me a bipod that goes on my rifle with a magnet. And that was the end of my genius, I promise. So I've worked with some brilliant engineers that have developed this stuff. We've worked with some fantastic materials and some fantastic manufacturers to produce what we class as hunting tools, ethical killing tools to up your game. And they'll make a bad shot a good shot, and they make a good shot better. And it's really, really simple. So with the bipod, for example, you literally, it's very, very light.
Yeah, it weighs nothing.
Yeah.
Now, that's what was so cool to me is like, this is like ounces, and I just throw it. I keep it everywhere, somewhere handy, and I just whip it out and
you pop it on. And I mean, for anybody that hasn't seen it, I guess I should just show them. But so once you've got the adapter on the rifle, and there's about 13 different options of adapters now, depending on what you want to do, you literally pop it in place like so.
Yeah.
So I can put that bipod on quicker than you can drop the legs on a conventional bipod. So to date, I've never been beaten, and I'm not super quick, but somebody says, bipod needs to be on the rifle, and I go, well, no, it doesn't. We've grown up with bipods on the rifle, and actually we've moved forward a bit.
Yeah, I'm not into it, I know that.
So the other thing that this does, which most other bipods will do to a fashion but not to the same extent, is I have a huge amount of travel here. So I can follow a target very quickly and effectively. My daughter shot 4 deer off this in 45 seconds, real fast. And then you can turn it round if you want to and lock it in place. So 2 options for fitting it. But you've got no excuse not to take one, really, when it's that light and it's so packable.
And it also, the head angles back and forth here. You can loosen it up, and you got travel both ways.
The cant.
You can get the cant right.
Because the ground's never flat, is it?
No, nothing's ever perfect.
No, it's and I always say that to people that learn to hunt. I say, test yourself. Put yourself in an environment that is more like where you be. You're not going to take an electric kettle to the mountains because it won't work. So things that are designed to work on flat surfaces, Most hunting
What's
we
an
do.
electric kettle?
Oh yeah, you don't have them, do you? Yeah. You don't even have kettles. You just have hot water. You're so much more sophisticated than us. Never mind.
We actually have
English
kettles.
story.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. It's a pot
we're
that we.
picking on him.
Yeah. But look. So that was the birth. Really, the bipod was the start of it. And Adam Weatherby's been a big fan. He picked them up very early on and really likes it. Now we sell the Weatherby pod, but we work with Loophole, Reason at Loophole as well. So there's a lot of companies we're working and they're using them as a branded bipod, which makes a lot of sense if you're selling a rifle package or optics or whatever.
Exactly. It makes a full package.
Oh yeah, exactly. But what we're hugely excited about is that the bipod is just a tiny piece of the story. So the real main story is really the tripod. I don't want to call it a tripod because it isn't a tripod. That's just one of its purposes. Yeah. Right. So
let me
I'm
grab
going
the
to
camera.
slip out the way.
I'm going to grab the camera.
Yeah, good. So the tripod, what is the tripod? The tripod is your rifle support system. I came up with this idea. We drive a lot of manual cars in the UK still. You don't have kettles and we don't have many autos. So I was driving my Audi and I thought, this is what I need. That little ball joint there on that magnet is a game changer. So I can really, whatever's going on, uphill, downhill, I can really shoot very, very effectively. Where it comes into its own is obviously, it's not just a rifle support. So I can then put my binoculars on there, and it really is this easy, guys. Right, I can put my spotting scope on there. And I can lock that down because you need a steady, we use a different mount for this because you want a bit more stability. And actually, you can even swap that whole head off if you want. I can just quickly demonstrate that to you. Spin the whole lot out, take the ball off.
This one?
And put a pan head converter on. Now, we're not going to make a pan head because we're not here to reinvent what's been done brilliantly already. You guys have got one on your camera and such like. There's a load of really good pan heads. So you buy your favourite pan head from your favourite company and you can stick it straight on there. And then effectively you've really got pretty much a very effective tripod. These things are stupid light, eh? I mean, there's no weight to that.
Very light.
So if you want a bit more stability, you've got a little hook here, you can put your rucksack on there. Jenna uses them back in the UK we've got very small deer in the UK. Don't take the mickey now, guys, they're not elk. Little deer, and we can dress them out on that hook.
Really?
Yeah. You wouldn't do it with an elk.
No,
but anyway.
That would be on the taller pods.
Yeah. So that actually brings a huge amount of versatility to it. We are making a lightweight, well we're not, there's a company in Austria called Strasser, make lovely stuff, beautiful engineering, really good rifles. They're making us a little Strasser panhandle. So it won't be as effective as a big heavy panhandle, but it'll weigh nothing and it'll do a lot that a normal panhandle wouldn't do. And we're going to actually use a carbon leg to control the camera. So that'll probably be out next year. So once you've done that, you've got your pan head, you've got your tripod for your optics, for your rifle, for your binoculars. What we thought, well, there's other things we can do with a tripod. Now, my view is I very rarely shoot from a tripod because the kind of environment I shoot in often don't need one. So I tend to use it on 2 legs.
With the rifle?
Yeah, more than 3. And the reason being is you actually become the 3rd leg.
I'm used to that.
So this, as a very, very quick and effective shooting system, is a little bit short for me, but is very, very effective. And now I'm on 2 legs. It doesn't matter what the ground's doing underneath.
Exactly.
I can cover it. And if I want to shoot uphill, I just turn around the other way. It's a game changer.
Right.
And then I can lock that down. On that ball, I can drop down, and effectively I'm treating it like a giant bipod.
Yes.
So, monopod, bipod, tripod, for your optics, for your rifle, for your spotting scope.
And they adjust up and down. So you can do
there's
shooting sticks.
That'll do everything from this one's the mountain version. The one over there that I can bring over if you like will cover real tall stuff. That's not even set to its highest highest mode.
Right.
So it's really designed to do everything from sitting on your backside, taking a shot, to standing.
Because I find myself sitting down doing, you know, a lot if I can on shooting sticks and.
Well, this thing. I'm going to nick the rifle again.
Yeah.
Now, if you do any coyote shooting, you're going to struggle to beat this for stability.
Yeah.
You know, I can lock in, I can really drill down on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the thing weighs nothing, so why wouldn't you? It's a lot better than trying to support the rifle unaided. So it's a very versatile system. Now, you guys carry.
Move that one out of the way. You see that?
You guys carry a lot of. So I'm not going to point at your legs there. You see how much movement I've got on this?
Right.
Right.
And how much?
And it's not going nowhere. It's
No, it's solid, absolutely solid.
Oh.
So we thought, you guys pack a lot of meat out, don't you? When you shoot your elk or whatever, you've got to carry it out. And look, I'm 54, nearly 55. The knees aren't what they were, and I should have started using trekking poles a long time ago. Regrettably, I didn't, but that's my mistake. So what you can do is, once you've taken your legs off, you can then screw these little fellas on.
And now we have trekking poles.
You've got probably the world's strongest trekking poles. This carbon is made by an Austrian company, and they make aircraft control rods. I mean, it's real tough stuff. So they are very, very strong tools. Like anything, you can break them, you know, if you do. But if you do break apart or you get any rubbish in it, you just you can literally spin them out and replace a leg section. So they really are modular. And the reason these are pretty big is because, unlike a trekking pole, we want to be able to put a lot of weight on these.
Yes.
So we've made these, we've probably doubled the size of them. But you just swap them out. That little plastic lug there is just an anti-rotational spline, so it will only go one way. And all the aluminium for you Americans, that's how you say it, is 7,000 grade, so it's really tough. We even do a snowshoe, and a couple of other projects that we're working on at the moment, I haven't got them here yet, is you can take the handle off, because you guys do a bit of tree stand work now and again, do you?
I haven't ever, but many
A
people
lot
do.
of folks do here in
Right.
the States. We're kind of backcountry
So
run and gun folks, but yeah, there's
what
a
we've got
ton
in
of
the UK, we do a lot in high seats and such like, and you get up in your high seat and then there's a tree in a branch in the way. So we're making a little tree saw, screws on the end of that, so you can use your little handle to saw it off. And another thing we're doing is a snow shovel that will use that whole head as a snow shovel. So look, you don't need everything, but what we're trying to do, it's a bit like a clothing company. We make parts for different types of hunts. So we even make mini legs. This guys is exactly the same as that tripod or this. It's just the leg swap out.
Okay.
So you can do that for camera work. You can shoot off it. You can do everything off that. You could even use them as trekking poles if you were a dwarf. But it's the same unit. It's just you swap out the legs. And actually, this makes a not too bad bipod.
I was just going to say. Yeah.
So if you go for those, don't buy the bipod. It's just whatever your preference is. You don't need everything.
Right.
And then we work with a really lovely company called Emberleaf, based in the UK. A couple of really nice guys make these lovely, and we're very good at knowing what we can't do, which is a lot of things.
Yes.
So we go to really good companies to get those made, and they make these little quick draw holsters for the bipod. I'm very excited about these. I think we'll sell lots of them. And that just clips onto that molly thing, so you can put your rucksack, your harness.
Great.
We've mounted it on with a knife here. I mean, Emberleaf make that knife as well, but so that can actually be mounted anywhere.
Sure.
But you don't need the whole thing. You just need that little holster, really. And then if you are a conventional sort of shooter, you can use a little rabbit head, go straight on, which is also a trekking pole handle as well.
Okay.
Would I use it for muntjac stalking sometimes, because the muntjac that we have, they're little Asian deer in Europe, they don't stop, they're always on the move, so you don't get much of a chance, so that works quite really quick, but doesn't give you the same stability. And then lastly, unless I've forgotten something, the whole thing, when you think the show is over, guys, standing in front of the log cabin, you know, with the elixir that cures all, we have these tents, and we're going to do 2 of them. Hugely excited about these. So it uses a triangular frame as the tent frame, and then it's pegged out like 10 feet further down. So you actually have a very comfortable one-man tent. And that thing
weighs
I
absolutely
don't even know what it is. It's got to be less than a pound.
It's less than a pound. Yeah.
So that's made out of Dyneema. It's a very expensive, non-breathable membrane. So it has to be well vented. I wouldn't suggest or recommend this for the Arctic, guys, because you're going to freeze to death. Then we've made the same thing, but in event. So it's a breathable single wall tent. I've been sleeping out in these for the last few nights, and before that I didn't have a tent at all. So anything's a bonus. But this is game changing. So I've got my tent, I've got my tripod, I've got my trekking poles, I've got my shooting support, I've got my optic support, I've got my, what have I forgotten?
Nothing.
Yeah.
You
So
got cameras.
have we done our job? So these 2 lovely people, Randy and Candy, we're going to be doing a lot more with them. They're doing great. I help them on their ladies hunting show with the Weatherby rifles and such, like hunting training program. Absolutely wonderful. I mean, what you're doing for those girls is absolutely
Thank you.
top notch.
So what are you going to do?
I'm just going to show you.
Exercise routine.
People have said, why have I made these locks? These brakes are big, right? And look, don't try this at home, guys, because I'm not saying it's made for this. It isn't. But I was just demonstrating that thing, it weighs nothing, right? But people say, well, is it strong enough? Well, I weigh probably 180 pounds, I guess, in American. But I can do that, you know, it's pretty impressive. So if it can hang me, my daughter uses it, as I say, for dressing out small deer. It's a pretty tough bit of kit. How's the light now? Is that all right? Or was that...
That's better.
Yeah.
It's still a little blinding. So
Candy's blinded by the light. We don't have the best of light here, but
not my bald head.
this is where we ended up. But no, Rob came. He actually came out to the first ladies camp we did this year in Utah. And he can't make the next one, but I think he had a good time.
Oh no, I really loved it, and I'm looking forward to coming back next year and helping you guys again. And we'll definitely schedule something in. Yeah, for sure.
Try to figure out at least one of them you can make. And
the ladies loved it. The instructors loved it. He brought a whole lot of different aspects and training and shooting techniques that they hadn't used before and they're using now, and I think it's really going to help.
Well, what I did, I simply put them in an environment that's more akin with the environment you'd find in the mountains. So I said, right, forget the flat table, guys. That's dust, right? Because you don't have a flat table in the mountains. So I had them.
You don't carry one?
No, not often. Yeah. But I had them shooting prone, seated, standing, off the bipod, off the tripod, off its sticks as well. So I was putting them in lots of different awkward environments and showing them how easy it is to make that shot when you've got good support, because that's the fundamentals. I think these days everybody's making good rifles.
Yep.
The optics are all up there. It's a bit like the car industry. I think if people didn't make anything good now, they wouldn't have a business.
No.
So the key is to make sure you are anchored to the ground in a comfortable manner, so you can provide that make for that accurate shot. So I simulated with the girls basically 250 yards. We shot an elk, metal plate, and I acted it out and said, right, you've wounded that animal. Now you've got to move quite quick to recompose yourself.
Yep, make a follow-up.
And make a follow-up. So that the ladies' hunt camp, it's really brilliant. That range is fantastic,
yes,
game-changing. So I was able to say, right, that elk's just migrated another 50 yards up the hill, sight shot, now you make the second shot. Every one of them did that.
Yes.
Everyone. So
even beginners that had never shot a rifle.
And they were quite blown away, and they thought, I can actually do this. And so you can, because you've got the right tools to do it, and they all sit and listen. I do love training ladies because they do actually listen, and there's no arrogance there or egos.
No.
They just go there to learn. So you guys are doing a great job there, and I'm very much hoping to be part of it next year.
Absolutely.
Very
I don't
good.
think we'd do it without you.
But
well,
I can't say enough about this kind of stuff, because I'm a huge advocate. I've packed shooting sticks everywhere I go. I used to make them out of 1x2s and carry them just across sticks, and I always have used them. And it's one of those things, it's anything that helps make things work better and you know, you use it. And this is top quality stuff. Like you said, there's so many different things for us where we're packing cameras a lot of times and everything else. Now it's interchangeable. We can use them for trekking poles. We can do everything and not have to, you know, we can leave some of the other junk back and just carry this and it'll work for everything. And they're high quality and they're not cheap, but
you buy them once.
You only have to buy it once. It's just like buying a good rifle or anything
exactly.
else. You gotta, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, and we're lucky that we're not controlled by. We're not running this as a business like an accountant would run it. We're all mad creators, and we've been frustrated because we haven't been able to find. We've used those sticks. We've made those sticks. We've been in that same journey.
We've made those bad shots off those sticks.
And thought we can do better. So there was never a remit to make it cheaply. There was to find the best material. We blew up a lot of carbon fibre in the early days because you can buy cheap carbon, you can buy good carbon. I mean, now we happen to work with some fantastic carbon manufacturers. But we made everything as well as we can do it. And it's not a cheap product, but it's an investment.
Yeah,
and actually, how much value do you put on killing that animal effectively and having a good day where there's a dead animal on the end that's not running around or whatever, and you've got good meat because it's not full of adrenaline. It's a small part of the story.
Right.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And it's a confidence builder, especially like these ladies, you know, once they make a bad shot, sometimes they can go downhill so fast.
Confidence is everything too.
Yeah.
So,
and there was some real honesty. I mean, some of those girls they feel very comfortable. That ladies camp, you really do bring the best out of them. And they were able to share those stories and such like. And so, you know, I'm simply there to help them make sure that if they choose to go and get their tag and do their animal, then use these tools and your game's definitely improved.
Yeah.
Yep. The better quality the tools and the better they know how to use them, the more success.
Yeah. That's what we strive for. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much,
guys, and thank you for that lovely elk that I ate. You can shoot another one of those.
I had some elk meat last night. This morning
sadly we don't get many elk in the UK. I'm thinking of shipping a few over. No, they are just fantastic.
Well, anyway, he's on a road trip here, so we'll
4,000 miles into it.
Hopefully catch up with him again soon.
Yeah, look forward to it. Well, thank you for watching, guys. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, good stuff.
We get another hug. Hope you enjoyed this week's podcast, and remember, it's not always perfect, but it is always real with Extreme Desire. Please always remember we cannot continue without social media these days. Once again, we ask that you like us, Randy and Candy Yows Extreme Desire, on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please check out our website, extremedesiretv.com. See you next week, same place, same time.